Welcome back, everyone. Look, today we're going to be looking at Australia versus New Zealand, the All Blacks versus Wallabies. I mean, Bledisloe Cup, Game 1 in Sydney, Australia. And they'll be playing at Accor Stadium down in Sydney. As you can see, that's what the stadium kind of looks like on the inside. I've been there once before. It holds about 80,000 people. And I very highly doubt it's going to be a sellout, in my honest opinion. There's just not much feeling around it. Last night there was a rugby league game in Sydney. Last night there was an AFL game in Sydney. Today there's another rugby league game in Sydney as well, so I doubt it'll be a sellout. But I think it'll be a massive, massive game. I think it's going to be closer than most people think. We'll run through the team lineups. We'll go through a prediction. I'll go through what I think is a safe bet. And I'll explain to you why I think it'll be a closer game than you think. And I'll also point out to you kind of the players to watch, I'd say. In the bottom right corner, you'll see the highlights from last week. I mean, you can see Australia was up 20 points to 3 in the first half. Ended up being 20 points to 17. And then around the 60-minute mark, that is when Argentina really pulled away. I think they scored about 5 tries or something in the last 20 minutes, which is just absolutely insane. But we'll run through this team list here. So Angus Bell, I think this is probably Australia's strongest team that they can probably put on the field. Apart from, I think that Salakai Aloto, he should be in that lock, just in my honest opinion. I mean, he's probably there, another bruiser to help Valentini out and to help Tupou out, but I guess they're trying to keep something on the bench so they don't just get run over. If you look at all the Wallabies games this year, they played the Springboks in the first round, right? Really got let down in that last 25 minutes. I was at that game in Brisbane, and it was very tight still. South Africa was in control, but they never really properly pulled away until the last 20 minutes. And then you look at, and that's even with 2 yellow cards at one point as well. And then you look at the second game in Perth, very close game again, all the way till the last 20 minutes. South Africa pulled away. Then you look at that first game against Argentina, much better performance. They are, Argentina, pretty average in wet weather, we know that. And then the second game, yet again, as you'll see down in the bottom right, if you are watching it, really Argentina started pulling away that last 20 minutes again. And that's just because Australia doesn't have depth. They don't have depth outside of their 15. And that's something that Schmidt is going to have to create. We'll see how it goes. Look, I live in Australia. I'm South African, so I sport the box. But I did also live in New Zealand for 11 years as well. So I've been through pretty much the Tri-Nations apart from Argentina. So you can see here at the bottom, so 56th minute, that's really when they start kind of putting on a double-digit lead. But anyway, let's go. Angus Bell, he's been solid. Matt Faisler, I guess he's been consistent. Taniela Tupou, they need more out of him. Nick Frost, Jeremy Williams and lock. Rob Valentini, who's the best Aussie player, in at 6. Fraser McWright is back from an injury, and he's going to be very much needed because the only thing about young Pisano is he's a great defender, but on attack he's kind of lacking. And that's where Fraser McWright will come through and help a lot. You'll see here, Harry Wilson at number 8, captain, done a lot of running so far. Nick White is back in, more probably for the kicking ability. Noah Lolosio is back in again, who I think is maybe not a great choice. I think Donaldson actually played really, really good in this game against Argentina. And really when he went off is really when they started pounding on points as well. But they were behind when he went off as well. Korobidi, always good. Getting a little bit old now, but he's still got a few good years left in him. He's still very solid. But you could see just even with that, the last one before that, he kind of got stood up for a try, and it's just, he's getting a little bit older now. Hunter Paisami, I rate him. He's a great player. Ikitau, I think he was man of the match that first Argentina game. Andrew Callaway, he can create anything. Tom Wright, he's also good. On the bench, you can see Brandon Painga Amosa. Hopefully gets a little bit more time. I think he deserves at least like 30 minutes a game. Alalatoa, yet again, another one of those players is kind of getting a little bit older. James Slipper, let's be real. If it wasn't James Slipper, the man, the myth, the legend himself, I mean, he would not be picked for Australia. You got to make way for the younger players, man. Seriously, especially if you're planning for the next World Cup. You know, Angus Bell is the only fairly young prop in this whole squad. Slipper's old, Alalotoa's old, Tupou's getting old and fairly injured, unfortunately. Then you can see Salakaya Loto, who I think has been great, so it's good to see him back. Lungy Gleeson, Tate McDermott, he always brings a bit of a spark. Tom Linner, maybe a little bit, and I think they pushed him into it a little bit too early. And then Dylan Peach to finish. Another fairly young player. Now, to the New Zealand side, to the All Blacks team, the ABs, Ethan de Groot is back from injury. Good to see him back. I mean, he's a great player. That just brings so much more depth to their front row. Cody Taylor, man, you'd have to say him and Malcolm Marx are probably the best hookers in the whole game right now. Tyrell Lomax, another great, solid. Scott Barrett, Tupovai, Wallace Satiti had a great game in that second game against the Springboks. Sam Cane is still in there. After the World Cup, they said, oh, he's not going to start anymore. He's in there because of injuries. Adi Sevilla, I mean, you know, leads from the front. He's a warrior. Such a great player. Cortez Ratima gets to start over TJ Perinara. I really think, you know, a lot of people do rate Cortez. I really don't at an international level yet. Obviously, he's got to get that experience. But yeah, I just think he's not up to the level yet. But I guess they got to blood him sometimes, right? They got to learn from the Boca kind of mantra where they blood people during, you know, the years leading up to the World Cup. Damien McKenzie, yeah, if you're All Black supporter, I guess you love him and you hate him, right? Caleb Clark is back. That's another big addition. Geordie Barrett, Rico Ioane, he needs a pretty solid game. I think he's been fairly quiet. He hasn't had the space that he usually wants. Will Jordan back on the wing. Bowden Barrett back at fullback. Asafo Almoa, he needs more time as well. This guy is a freaking beast, but he's just not getting any minutes because Cody Taylor's so damn good. Tamaiti Williams is back on the bench. And then Pasilo Tosi, man, this dude is massive. I think 140 kilos, very young, great player. And he comes in because of an injury again. And hopefully gets more than 10 minutes. You know, give the kid 15, 20 minutes at least, I'd say. Sam Darry, Luke Jacobson, TJ Perinara, Anton Leonard-Brown, and Sevu Reece. Yeah. Luke Jacobson's a great player as well. Really good player. Anton Leonard-Brown, I feel, is just wasted. You know, if Rico doesn't fly this game, I really think they need to, kind of switch it up. I don't know why they always keep, I guess, wingers and that on the bench. Just don't understand because, I mean, with Mark Talia, they had him on the bench and whenever they seem to come on, it destroys the flow of the game. We'll go through just the caps here real quick. So you can see Ethan de Groot 26, Coley Taylor 91. You can kind of see yourself there. Satiti's only 3, Sam Cane's nearly at 100. Cortez Ratima, all that. So it's a very experienced squad and they're working in these younger kind of, you know, inexperienced players quite well, in my opinion. Now on the Wallabies side of it, Angus Bell, you know, not a lot of tests between all of them. Fraser McBride, Harry Wilson, you know, these players have been around, feels like forever, but they've only played 20 or 17 tests because of injuries, I guess, and they're always changing the team. Bolasio, Korobiti, it's weird, eh? Australians, apart from James Slipper, you know, no one else is even close to the 100 yet. Alala Toa is the next one of 74 caps. So it's a fairly inexperienced team. And yeah, they need to build this experience. They really have to. And they got to stick with their guns. And unfortunately, they got to build for the World Cup. You know, that's the thing that baffles me as well, is that Dave Rennie kind of had this team ready to go for the World Cup and then they go ahead and fire him. It was pretty crazy. I think there had to be some sort of personal beef with the poor man. But yeah, they were challenging the All Blacks. I remember they would have won that game if Nick White actually just kicked it out, which he didn't do. So yeah, funny. But anyway, we'll go to the prediction. I think it'll be a bit tighter, right? I think it'll be tight for the first 55, 60 minutes. I think All Blacks will start quick. And then I think after that, you know, Australia will pull it back a little bit coming into the half. So I think it'll be, you know, within 10 points at halftime. And then the second half, I think the last 20 minutes, the All Blacks will score 1 or 2 maybe tries. Australia will stay fairly close to it, I think, just of penalties purely. If Lolosio can actually make his kicks. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the All Blacks win, obviously, but I think they win by about 17. So I'm probably guessing a score of around 34-17, maybe 37-20. I think it'll be a fairly high scoring open game. Both teams will probably be looking to throw it around, especially with this kind of rivalry. I'm hoping for that anyway. So I'm thinking, you know, if you're a betting person, you know, stay away from betting if you're not, but I'm thinking New Zealand to win 11-20, between 11 to 20 points. That'll be my bet, just for this game here. I mean, let me know what you think below. What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, for some reason, I just have that feeling that it'll be a closer game than most people think. You know, sometimes the Wallabies do kind of turn it on home soil, especially against the All Blacks. So should be a good crowd. The crowd should get them right into it. If they can stay, you know, with disciplined, I think it'll be a closer game than a lot of people think. Will the Wallabies win? I think none of us give them a chance. If they do, it'll be a great upset. I would be all for it. I think it will just create a bit more of a buzz for the Rugby Championship instead of just, you know, 2 top teams and 2 bottom teams. Kind of how Argentina has done, where they actually won a couple games and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think the score predictions will be below? Let me know. What is your recommendation? And we'll see who gets the closest, right? Thank you for watching, and I'll pop the preview for the Booker and the Pumas game after this. So definitely give it a watch. Yet again, I think it's probably a game that's going to be a little bit closer than a lot of people think. Yet again, you never know with the RGs, right? You never know how they'll turn up. They're so inconsistent, and they can beat any team on any given day. So I'll see you guys in the next video.